Hey, what's going on, Steeler Nation? Welcome back to the Black and Gold Standard Podcast. I just wanted to jump on here tonight and just talk about a few things that's going on with the Steelers. Right now, it's really no news coming out. Everybody's kind of getting prepared for the draft. You got a lot of mock drafts coming out, which I did my first of three mock drafts on Wednesday, and I thought it was very interesting picks on there. So if you get a chance, check that episode out. Um, so one of the things I wanted to address, because for some reason this is not going away, and this is Brandon Aiyuk possible trade. I mean, I've always believed if it's smoke, it's fire, and I truly believe that it's some discussions going on, and I believe it's actually probably a possibility that this deal could get done. I truly believe. I think it's really more on the Steelers because I think at this point, the 49ers, if they don't do it, they probably want to get this done before the draft. But if not, definitely during the draft. And I think at this point, a second round or a third round pick should pretty much get this deal done. But I think it's more on the Steelers, just the fact of um, the contract that he would want. Is he a 20 $25 million a year receiver? So that I think that's kind of going to be the issues where the Steelers are either going to say, hey, we just can give up a second round pick, and maybe another a second and a fifth or whatever, and get this guy. He's better than any receiver coming out of college right now that we could get in the second round. So I think the Steelers is looking at that, but again, I think they also looking at do they want to pay this guy because believe it or not, it's the Steelers got some serious questions with the salary cap coming up on, or, with guys on the offensive side. I mean, you got to pick up Najee's option, which that's not really a big number. You got to sign Fire Move, um, and also you got to figure out with your quarterbacks. I mean, I think Russell Wilson. I don't think his deal. It's gonna his deal is gonna be based on how the season go. I think. But just to you hear so many people say, "Well, he's gonna flop and this and that." But say he doesn't flop. Say he does. I don't know. Take the Steelers to the AFC Championship game. If that happens, you got to bring them back. You bring them back. I think at this point you're talking at least 20 $25 million a year for him. Justin Fields. I mean, at this point they're not going to pick up his option, but do they want to try to sign him long term, or not really long term, but maybe give him a 2 year, 3 year contract and break that $25 million salary up. So regardless of what happened, you're looking at going into next year. Your quarterback room is going to go from probably like 4 or 5 million to close to 30 or 40. You know, and that's like I said, that's getting Russell Wilson still at a discount. Then you got George Pickens that's coming up, and I think this is something I think it's going to be very interesting with him because with Pickens, he'll be going into his third year. He was a second round pick, so they only got 4 years with him. They don't have an option with him. So if you're the Steelers, do you go to Pickens this year and try to extend him? I mean, he hasn't made a lot of money. So, I mean, do you try to extend him now? And I know a lot of people will say, well, why would you want to do it so early when you got another year? First of all, you don't want to go into that last year. So, obviously, you would do it, try to get it done before next season. But I would just float something out there to him because if I'm in Pickens camp, you got to kind of think like, do you take this extension now or do you bet on yourself going into your last year of your contract? But it's a possibility if Russell Wilson doesn't do good, if Justin Fields decide to say, "Hey, I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to go, go in free agency." Hey, the Steelers will be going into next year without a quarterback, and I don't think he would want to go into his free agent year without a quarterback and can't put up no big numbers, which is going to affect his bottom line. So I mean, it's just a lot that the Steelers got to really kind of work with, But to get back to Brandon Aiyuk, I mean, I would love to see that pick. I mean that trade because, like I say, I think for a second or third round, the receiver that the Steelers probably would take is definitely not going to be better than him at this point. So it would be a good trade for him. But like I say, it's just going to determine what type of contract he's looking for. So, you know, I guess don't be shocked if it happens, but then then don't be shocked if it doesn't happen. This is going to be very interesting going into the draft. Um, Other than that, I think everything is pretty much quiet. Like I say, this is the lying um time of the year. Everybody's lying. Um, I hear a lot of people talking about who made visits and all that. And it is some of those guys, obviously the Steelers do have some big interest in, but I also think that Mike Tomlin is that type of guy that he's gonna bring in some. I mean, especially if it's a guy that like, wow, are they really looking at this guy or this is off the radar? I think Mike Tomlin like bringing in guys and build relationships with those guys because he know in 4 or 5 years some of these guys gonna be free agents, and he just want to have a relationship with them just in case he gets the opportunity to recruit them as free agents, just like with Justin Fields. I mean, I want to say the year he came out, the reports was Mike Tomlin was all over him at his pro day, even though the Steelers pretty much knew they didn't have a chance of drafting him. But look how that relationship formed, and there you go. Fields, decided to come here. So it's just, like I say, right now, um, it's just hard to, it's hard to believe everything that you hear coming out right now. And then also I wanted to talk about just Mike Tomlin and his extension. Um, it's kind of weird that Steelers haven't done it yet. I know a lot of times they always do the extension, in training camp, and that might be the case. But I was just wondering, do they give him a 1 year extension or a 2 year? Because they're definitely not going to let him go in, and coach as a lame duck coach. So do they extend him just a year? Because I don't think it's really no heat on Mike Tomlin, but I also think that if this season doesn't go as planned, you know, I I could see a change happening. So I don't know. That's gonna be very interesting too of what the Steelers do with him. But I think they're really in it to win it this year. Just with the moves and being aggressive, and like I said, we'll see how this draft go. Me personally, I really don't see the Steelers trading up unless it's just a guy, and I'm quite sure they got some guys that's penciled in that, hey, if this guy is in striking distance, we may have to move up. But I think I could see the Steelers moving down more than moving up in the draft. Um, wow, like I say, this is going to be a very firm ride. I think. Um, what else do we have? That's pretty much it. I just like I said, I just wanted to get on here and talk a little bit and talk about the team a little bit and just kind of just figure out what's going on with this receiver situation. And like I say, I would not be shocked either way if a trade happened or if a trade doesn't happen. Like I say, I just think that at this point the big thing is going to be the contract. I think that's what they're probably kind of trying to figure out. Do we really want to put that type money out on a receiver when we have a lot of guys that we need to take care. I mean, I forgot about Jalen Warren. They're gonna have to try to sign him, which I think it probably would be easy signing him, especially with him being a undrafted free agent. So I think they can give him, a nice decent bag, and it shouldn't be no problem getting, signing him back. So with that said, I think that's pretty much it. Like I said, we have our mock draft 2.0. We'll be doing that on Wednesday, and then we're going to do another mock draft the Wednesday before the draft, and just kind of see how close we come to what the Steelers actually do. Other than that, you guys take care. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Take care. All right. Bye bye.